You start life as a complete mystery, wrapped up tight in a leathery egg that looks like someone crossed a football with a flower from hell. For who knows how long, you've been sitting there in the dark, waiting, just waiting. No Netflix, no snacks, no nothing. Then suddenly, something triggers your wake-up call. The egg petals peel back like the world's worst surprise party, and boom, you're alive and ready to party. Except this party has exactly one guest, one activity, and one very specific ending that nobody's going to enjoy. Your entire body is basically 8 fingers attached to a tail, which sounds weird because it is weird. You've got no eyes, no mouth to speak of, just pure instinct screaming at you to find something warm and breathing. You spring out of that egg like a jack-in-the-box on steroids, all pale and spider-like, your fingers already flexing with anticipation. The clock starts ticking the moment you taste air. You've got maybe 120 hours to complete your life's mission before you turn into alien jerky. Right away, you realize movement is your thing. You skitter across surfaces with the grace of a nightmare ballet dancer, using those finger legs to propel yourself forward at speeds that would make a cockroach jealous. Your tail whips behind you for balance, and you can leap distances that seem impossible for something your size. Physics? Never heard of her. You're operating on pure alien biology that laughs at gravity's suggestions. The first few minutes of freedom are all about getting your bearings. You scan your surroundings using some kind of built-in radar that doesn't need eyes. Heat signatures light up in your awareness like neon signs saying, "Potential host here." Your body temperature runs cold, which helps you blend into the background radiation of whatever creepy place you've hatched in. Smart design, really. Nature's own little stealth bomber with fingers for wings. You quickly discover that patience isn't just a virtue, it's a survival strategy. You can go completely still, becoming nothing more than another shadow in the darkness. Hours pass, maybe days. But time means nothing when you're basically a biological time bomb. Your metabolism slows to almost nothing, conserving every bit of energy for that one perfect moment when a suitable host wanders too close. Then it happens. A heat signature moves into range, and every cell in your body goes to red alert. This is it, the moment you were literally born for. You tense up, calculating distance and trajectory like some kind of living missile guidance system. Your tail coils beneath you, ready to provide that extra spring in your step. Or, should we say, spring in your finger. The leap is poetry in motion. If poetry could give people nightmares, you launch yourself through the air, fingers spread wide like the universe's worst jazz hands. Time seems to slow as you arc through space, your target growing larger in your heat vision. This is your NBA Finals, your World Cup, your entire existence compressed into a single aerial moment. Contact. Your fingers wrap around your target with a grip that would make a professional wrestler weep with envy, but you're not done yet. Now comes the really uncomfortable part. And trust me, nobody's having a good time here. Your underside opens up to reveal your actual mouth, complete with its own special delivery system. You've basically been walking around on your hands this whole time with your face tucked up underneath. Talk about putting your best foot forward, except you don't have feet, just more fingers. The attachment process is where things get seriously intense. Your tail wraps around for extra stability while you get to work. You're not just hanging on, you're creating an airtight seal that would make vacuum cleaner manufacturers jealous. Your body pumps out chemicals that do all sorts of interesting things to your host's biology. You're rewriting their DNA like a coder fixing bugs, except the end result isn't going to debug anything. Hours pass in this bizarre embrace. You're pumping genetic material like a living 3D printer, laying the groundwork for something that'll make you look cute by comparison. Your host might struggle at first, but your chemical cocktail ensures they'll be taking a nice long nap while you work. You're basically the worst anesthesiologist ever, but hey, at least your patient won't remember the procedure. The really messed up part? You're fully aware that this is a one-way ticket. Every bit of energy you pump into your mission brings you closer to your expiration date. You're literally giving your life for this cause, except nobody asked you if you wanted to be a martyr. You just woke up one day programmed to be the universe's most dedicated surrogate parent. As time goes on, you feel yourself getting weaker. Your grip loosens bit by bit as your life force drains away. The genetic payload has been delivered, the biological FedEx package signed for and received. Your fingers, once so strong and sure, start to go limp, Your tail uncurls like a dying snake. Mission accomplished, you think, if you can think at all. The detachment process is about as graceful as everything else in your life, which is to say not at all. You basically just fall off like a ripe fruit from a tree, except fruits don't usually leave behind tiny biological time bombs. You hit the ground with all the dignity of a dropped hamburger, your once powerful body now just a pale, deflated shadow of its former self. Your final moments are spent twitching on some cold surface. Your biological batteries completely drained. No goodbye party, no gold watch for years of service. Just you, alone, having completed the only task you were ever meant to complete. Your body starts breaking down almost immediately, turning into a puddle of organic goo that would make a janitor quit on the spot. But wait, it gets better. Remember that whole thing about being part of a perfect organism's life cycle? Well, congratulations, you were basically just the delivery driver. The real star of the show is about to make their grand entrance, and they'll get all the credit for being a perfect killing machine while you're just a stain on the floor that someone needs to mop up. Your entire existence lasted maybe a week if you were lucky, most of it spent sitting in an egg like the world's worst Kinder Surprise. You got one shot at glory, one chance to do the thing you were born to do, and success meant immediate death. No do-overs, no practice rounds, just straight from egg to extinction with a brief stop at face mounting station. Other creatures get to eat, sleep, maybe see a sunset or two. You get to be a biological USB drive with legs, transferring data from point A to point B before immediately becoming obsolete. Your legacy lives on, sure, but it's kind of like being proud that your kids grew up to be serial killers. Not exactly something you'd put on a resume if you lived long enough to need one. The cosmic joke is that you're considered one of the most fearsome creatures in the universe, but you're basically just nature's most aggressive delivery service. Amazon wishes they had your dedication to getting packages to their destination, though their drivers probably appreciate not dissolving into goo after each delivery. So there you have it, your entire existence as a facehugger. Born in the dark, live in the shadows, die on the floor. Your dating profile would read, enjoys long jumps, tight hugs, and intimate connections that last a lifetime. Well, your lifetime anyway. Looking for someone who's literally breathtaking. No commitment issues here, I'm all in from the first date. At least when you're dissolving into that pile of acidic goop, you can take comfort in knowing you gave it your all. Every finger, every moment, every bit of your being went into that one perfect score. Sure, you're dead now, but somewhere out there, your biological successor is about to redecorate someone's chest cavity from the inside out. If that's not leaving a mark on the universe, what is? Though honestly, a nice commemorative plaque would have been better than becoming an alien puddle that someone has to squeegee into a bucket. Right now, you're nothing more than a blob of highly mutagenic fluid sitting inside a facehugger's body, waiting for the perfect moment to become something truly horrifying. Your whole existence starts as goo. Not exactly the glamorous origin story you were hoping for, right? But hey, every legend has humble beginnings. That facehugger carrying your future self finally latches onto a suitable host. 8 spindly legs wrap around the poor creature's head, a tail coils around its neck, and bam, there's a tube going straight down its throat. What's traveling through that tube? That's you, or rather, the stuff that will become you. This mutagenic cocktail gets injected right into the host's chest cavity, and the real magic begins. Your particles start rearranging the host's own cells, breaking them down at a molecular level and rebuilding them into something new, something alien. You're literally being built from stolen parts. If that's not the ultimate recycling program, nothing is. The facehugger finishes its job and drops off dead. Thanks for the lift, buddy. You're on your own now, tucked away in a cozy little amniotic sac attached to your host's insides via a tiny umbilical cord. Through this connection, you're siphoning nutrients and absorbing about 10 to 15% of your host's genetic code. This is called the DNA reflex, and it's your species' way of adapting to whatever environment your host lives in. Born from a 4-legged creature, you'll probably end up walking on 4 legs too. Born from something with mandibles? Guess what? You're getting mandibles. It's customizing your character in a video game, except you don't get to pick anything. The host does all the work, and you just take what you get. Fair? No. Effective? Extremely. Hours tick by. Maybe a whole day. Your host starts feeling a little off. sore throat, nausea, an appetite that won't quit. But here's the twisted part. Some hosts actually feel better during this time. That's because you're flooding their system with endorphins and adrenaline, making them feel weirdly healthy. Why would you do this? Because a happy host is a host that doesn't seek medical attention. You're already a master manipulator and you don't even have a brain yet. Inside that chest cavity, you're growing fast. Your signature inner jaw forms within the first hour. Your small worm-shaped body takes shape, beige and slick, with a set of metallic teeth that could bite through bone. Some of your kind develop tiny arm stubs. Others get fully formed arms. It depends on how long you've been cooking. Queen embryos, which take several days to develop, come out with all 4 arms, legs, and even a partial head crest. You're more basic. But basic isn't bad. Basic means you're almost ready. Then comes the moment you've been waiting for. Birth. And by birth, we mean the most violent, explosive, chest-exploding entrance any creature has ever made. You release special enzymes that soften the bone and tissue blocking your exit. Your host starts feeling cramps, then real pain, then screaming agony. And then, in a matter of seconds, you punch straight through the sternum like a biological battering ram. Blood everywhere. Organs ruptured. Your host? Gone. But you? You're finally here, screeching at the world with your tiny jaws wide open. Welcome to existence. You're covered in blood, screaming your lungs out, and you've just committed what most species would consider murder. But for you, this is Tuesday. This is just how your kind enters the world. No apologies, no regrets, just pure, primal survival instinct kicking in from second one. Now here's the catch. You're not exactly a killing machine yet. At this stage, you're about a foot tall and maybe 2 feet long if you count that whipping tail of yours. Your skin is soft. No hard shell, no armor. If anything bigger sees you right now, you're basically a walking snack. So what do? You run. You disappear into the nearest vent, duct, or hole you can squeeze into. Speed is your only friend, and you better use it. Those first few minutes after birth are pure chaos. Everyone around your former host is screaming, panicking, maybe reaching for weapons. You don't stick around. Your tail propels you across the floor at shocking speed. You're flexible enough to squeeze through gaps that seem impossibly small. That ventilation shaft? Perfect. You vanish before anyone can even think about chasing you. Once you've found a hiding spot, you start eating. Anything organic works. Bits of leftover tissue from your dramatic entrance. Random scraps you find in the dark. You even consume raw metals to bulk up. Your body is a furnace that burns through fuel at an insane rate. Scientists observing your kind have noted that growth is actually visible to the naked eye. That means if someone were watching you, they'd see you getting bigger in real time. Creepy? Absolutely. Efficient? Even more so. As you grow, your body starts changing. That soft baby skin begins hardening into something tougher. You shed your outer layer, or spin yourself into a cocoon, depending on your mood and surroundings. During this transformation, you expel a dark, thick foam that surrounds your body. The molting process is the clearest sign that you're nearby. Any smart creature looking for you would recognize those discarded skins. Luckily, most creatures aren't that smart. Hours pass, maybe less, and suddenly, you're not a chestburster anymore. You've graduated to full xenomorph status. Your body is now covered in a hard mesoskeleton that can shrug off small arms fire. Your elongated skull, your secondary jaw that shoots out from your mouth, your blade-tipped tail, everything's in place. You went from goo to apex predator in less than a day. That's faster than any meal delivery service. Other creatures spend years growing up, learning to walk, learning to hunt. You skipped all that. You were born ready. Well, almost ready. That brief chestburster phase was your only moment of weakness. Now you're a full-blown nightmare on 2 legs. But what now? That depends on the situation. If there's a queen nearby, you fall in line. You become part of the hive, hunting prey, dragging back hosts for more facehuggers, and defending the nest with your life. The queen controls everything through pheromones and sheer authority. You don't question her, you just serve. If there's no queen, well, things get interesting. Without royal leadership, one of your kind might undergo a transformation into a praetorian and eventually a queen herself. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're destined for royalty, or maybe you're just another drone who gets stepped on during a territorial fight. There's no way to know until it happens. Your days are now spent hunting. Your senses are razor sharp. You can detect prey through walls, track movement in complete darkness, and strike with precision that would make a surgeon jealous. That elongated head of yours isn't just for looks. Inside that dome, your brain processes information at incredible speeds. You know where your prey is going before they do. You set up ambushes in dark corners and wait with the patience of a statue. When they walk by, strike, grab, drag, done. Your acidic blood means that even if someone hurts you, they're going to regret it. One splash of that yellow goo and metal melts, flesh burns, and screams echo down corridors. You're not just dangerous, you're a walking biohazard with attitude. The hive grows. More hosts get dragged in. More facehuggers do their thing. More chestbursters make their grand entrances. The cycle continues, and you're right in the middle of it, serving your queen, expanding the colony, and making sure your species thrives. Life as a xenomorph isn't complicated. Hunt, serve, reproduce, repeat. The hive itself becomes your home. Walls get coated in a thick, resinous secretion that your kind produces. This goo hardens into a biomechanical structure that looks absolutely terrifying to outsiders. Hosts get cocooned to these walls, kept alive just long enough for facehuggers to do their work. It's brutal, it's efficient, it's home. You know every tunnel, every chamber, every hiding spot. The queen sits at the center of it all, her massive egg sac producing the next generation of facehuggers. You guard her with your life because without her, the hive falls apart. But every dynasty has its challenges. Other creatures fight back. Some come armed with fire, which happens to be your least favorite thing in the universe. Flames don't care about your acid blood or your hard shell. Fire just burns. Others seal themselves behind thick doors and pray you can't get through. Spoiler alert, you usually can. Your claws tear through metal, your inner jaw punches through skulls, and if all else fails, you've got siblings willing to sacrifice themselves so their acid blood melts a path forward. Teamwork makes the dream work, even if that dream involves a lot of screaming. Your intelligence grows with every encounter. You learn patterns. You set ambushes. You communicate with your siblings through clicks and hisses that form a language only your kind understands. Some prey tries to outsmart you by changing their routines. Cute. You adapt faster than they can think. Every failed attempt to stop you just teaches you something new. Years might pass if you're lucky. Most xenomorphs don't live that long. Combat, fire, explosive decompression into space. There are plenty of ways for your story to end. But if you survive, you become something truly formidable. A veteran of countless hunts. A nightmare that moves through shadows and strikes without warning. Younger xenomorphs in the hive look to you for guidance during hunts. Experience matters, even for a species that runs mostly on instinct. And, if you're really special, if the hive needs new leadership, you might find yourself growing larger, your skull expanding, your body preparing for the ultimate transformation. Queen status. The crown of the colony, mother of thousands. Your egg sac would produce hundreds of facehuggers, your pheromones would control an army. Every xenomorph in the hive would exist to serve you and protect your offspring. That's the dream. That's the endgame for any ambitious drone willing to put in the work. Then again, you might just be the xenomorph that accidentally walks into an airlock at the wrong moment and gets yeeted into the cold void of space, flailing your arms the whole way down. Space doesn't care how many battles you've won. Space doesn't care about your acidic blood or your perfect kill record. One wrong step, one hatch opening at the wrong time, and you're tumbling through the endless black, shrieking silently because there's no air to carry sound. Either outcome is equally likely, honestly. You're not even born yet, and already your life is a waiting game. Sitting inside this leathery egg for who knows how long. Maybe decades. Just chilling in complete darkness. No Netflix, no snacks, just you and the void. Your egg sits on some forgotten planet or derelict spaceship, and you're basically in the universe's most boring time capsule. Oh wait, something's moving nearby. Your egg starts to sense vibrations. Finally, the 4 petals at the top of your home begin to peel open like the world's most sinister flower blooming. Time to make your grand entrance. Except you're not exactly what anyone would call cute. You burst out as a facehugger, which is basically 8 bony fingers attached to a nightmare with a tail. You've got about 120 hours to find someone to hug, and by hug, we mean forcefully attach to their face and shove a tube down their throat. Real charming first impression there, buddy. You spring out of that egg like a jack-in-the-box on steroids, using your muscular tail to launch yourself through the air. You can jump ridiculous distances. We're talking Olympic long jump records, but with more face hugging at the end. Your target never sees it coming. Within seconds, you've wrapped your fingers around their head in a grip that would make a vice jealous. Those fingers of yours can lock in place, making removal basically impossible. Even if someone's buddy tries to help pull you off, you'll just strangle your host harder with your tail. You're clingy in the worst possible way. Your tail coils around their neck, cutting off any chance of escape. 7 seconds. That's all it takes to knock them out cold with your special blend of paralytic chemicals. You're basically a flying anesthesiologist with commitment issues. Oh, and if someone tries to cut you off, your acid blood will eat through their tools and probably their hands. You're a living security system that nobody asked for. Now comes the weird part, and yes, it gets weirder. You're not actually implanting a baby alien like everyone thinks. Nope, you're injecting this mutagenic goo called Plagiaris praepotens that literally rewrites your host's cells to build your next form from their own biological material. You're not giving them a parasite, you're turning them into a 3D printer for your next body. Talk about recycling. After a few hours of this deeply uncomfortable process, your job is done. You detach, crawl away to some dark corner, and promptly die. That's right, your entire existence as a facehugger lasts maybe a week if you're lucky. And most of that is sitting in an egg. You're basically nature's most aggressive one-night stand. But wait, you're not done yet. Surprise, you get a second life. While your facehugger body is decomposing somewhere, you're busy growing inside your host as a chestburster. For the next 1 to 24 hours, you're basically a really aggressive tumor with teeth. Your host might feel a bit peckish, maybe complain about heartburn. Little do they know you're in there doing home renovations on their ribcage. Then comes your big moment. You've grown enough, and it's time to check out of hotel host body. Do you politely excuse yourself? Maybe find a nice exit that doesn't involve major organ damage? Of course not. You punch through their chest like the universe's worst birthday surprise. Blood everywhere, ribs cracking, your host's day officially ruined. You emerge as this pale, serpentine little worm with way too many teeth, covered in gore and ready to run. Your first breath of fresh air comes with a side of screaming and panic. You let out this adorable little shriek that sounds like a demon baby's first cry. Touching moment, really. You scurry away as fast as your little body can move because right now, you're about as threatening as an angry noodle with dental work. Any janitor with a mop could probably take you out. You're vulnerable, squishy, and desperately looking for the nearest air vent to disappear into. You need to find somewhere safe to hide because your next trick is even more ridiculous. Over the course of just a few hours, you're gonna grow from a foot-long chest snake to a 7-foot-tall killing machine. That's like going from a Chihuahua to a Great Dane during a single Netflix binge. Your body starts producing this silicon-based exoskeleton, shedding your pale baby skin for that signature biomechanical look. Your inner jaw develops, giving you that charming smile within a smile that'll make you such a hit at parties. Those cute little arms grow into razor-sharp claws, and your tail becomes a spear-tipped weapon of doom. Puberty hits different when you're an alien. Now you're a full-grown drone, and life is all about the hustle. Your day job? Finding more hosts for your siblings. You've become a professional kidnapper with acid for blood and a face only a queen could love. You spend your time skulking through ventilation shafts, learning the layout of wherever you've ended up, and generally being the worst roommate imaginable. Your new body comes with some pretty sweet upgrades, though. You can climb walls and ceilings like gravity is just a suggestion. Your tail is basically a Swiss Army knife that doubles as a spear. You don't even need eyes because you've got this whole echolocation thing going on, though nobody really knows how it works since you don't have visible ears either. Science gave up trying to figure you out. Plus, if anyone tries to hurt you, your blood will melt their face off. Try explaining that to your insurance company. Your inner jaw is basically a tiny battering ram that can punch through bone and metal. You've got more teeth than a shark convention, and they're all pointed in the direction of, this is going to hurt. Your whole head is shaped like a banana designed by someone who really hates everyone. Those biomechanical tubes on your back? Nobody knows what they do. Maybe they're for breathing, maybe for sensing, maybe they're just there to look cool. You're a walking mystery wrapped in an exoskeleton, wrapped in everyone's nightmares. But here's where it gets complicated. You're not just some mindless killing machine. You're smart, maybe too smart. You learn patterns, set traps, and even use psychological warfare. You'll grab someone just to use them as bait for their friends. You're playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers, except your chess pieces are corpses, and the board is wherever you're terrorizing this week. If you're lucky, you might get promoted. Maybe you'll become a warrior, slightly bigger and meaner. Or if you're really special, you could become a Praetorian, which is basically a Xenomorph on steroids guarding the queen. Each promotion comes with size, upgrades, and new ways to ruin someone's day. Speaking of the queen, she's your entire purpose for existing. Everything you do is for her and the Hive. You're basically running a really aggressive daycare center, bringing her fresh hosts so she can lay more eggs. The cycle continues, and you're just another cog in this biological horror machine. No vacation days, no benefits package, just endless hunting and Hive expansion. Years pass, if you're lucky enough to survive that long. Most of your siblings get blown out airlocks, shot with pulse rifles, or meet some other explosive end. Some get torched by flamethrowers, which is just rude considering you never asked to be born as a walking nightmare. Others might get crushed by closing doors or fall into molten lead. The universe really has it out for your kind. But you? You're getting older. Slower. That exoskeleton isn't as shiny as it used to be. Your acid blood doesn't quite have the same sizzle. You've gone from apex predator to that guy who peaked in high school. Your biomechanical joints creak when you crawl through vents now. Sometimes you have to take a break halfway through stalking prey just to catch your breath, even though nobody's really sure if you actually breathe. Then one day, you're stalking through the shadows when you realize you can't quite make that wall climb like you used to. Your tail strikes are a fraction slower. Some younger drone is already eyeing your favorite hunting routes. You've become the alien equivalent of that coworker who still uses a flip phone and complains about kids these days. Your final hunt doesn't go as planned. Maybe you misjudge a jump, or your reflexes just aren't what they were. You find yourself cornered, wounded, acid blood pooling beneath you. As you lie there dissolving the floor, you can't help but think about your life. From egg to facehugger to chestburster to drone, what was it all for? But wait, in your final moments, you sense something. Another egg nearby beginning to open. The cycle begins anew. As your biomechanical body starts to shut down, you realize the ultimate cosmic joke. Somewhere out there, another facehugger is about to torpedo itself onto someone's face, thinking it's got the universe all figured out. Good luck with that, Junior. Hope you enjoy the 2 hours of consciousness before you die, followed by being reborn just to explode out of someone's chest. And the best part? That new little facehugger probably thinks this whole be born, attack face, die, be reborn, explode from chest, grow up in 3 hours, hunt forever, die slowly. Life cycle is totally normal. Nobody told you there'd be no dental plan in this hive either. Should have read the fine print on that evolutionary contract. You wake up inside someone else's chest cavity. Not exactly the 5-star accommodations you were hoping for, but hey, at least it's warm and there's free room service in the form of blood and tissue. You've been gestating here for about a day now, and your host has been having the worst time of their life, sweating bullets and clutching their chest while their crewmates wonder if it's just bad space food. Spoiler alert, it's not the food. Time to make your grand entrance. You bite through the ribcage with the enthusiasm of someone opening birthday presents, except the present is freedom and the wrapping paper is human bone. Your host's screams provide the perfect soundtrack as you burst out, all slimy and magnificent, about the size of a snake but with way more personality. Your new roommates are screaming and running around, which is honestly pretty rude considering you just got here. You screech at them with your adorable baby voice and scurry off into the nearest air vent because confrontation isn't really your thing right now. Unlike your regular drone siblings who got the basic package, you're special. You're a queen chestburster, which means you've got the VIP genetics. While those other chumps will grow up to be workers and warriors, you're destined for management. You can already feel it in your developing crown ridge and the extra set of arms starting to bud from your chest. You're basically alien royalty, except instead of a silver spoon, you were born with a second mouth. You find a cozy spot deep in the ship's maintenance tunnels and start your metamorphosis. Growing from a foot-long worm thing to a 14-foot-tall nightmare takes serious dedication. Your skin molts off like the world's grossest sleeping bag, and underneath, you're developing that signature biomechanical look that would make H.R. Geiger proud. Your crown extends backward from your skull, making you look like you're permanently wearing the universe's most metal helmet. Those extra arms sprouting from your chest aren't just for show either. They're perfect for multitasking, like ripping apart enemies while still having hands free to lay eggs. Nature really thought of everything.
Nice.
Within hours, you're fully grown and ready to start your empire. First order of business: find a suitable location for your hive. You prowl through the ship, leaving trails of resin everywhere because interior decorating is important. The cargo bay looks promising, lots of dark corners and pipes to hang your future children from. You start secreting your special hive resin, mixing it with your saliva to create walls and chambers. It's basically Extreme Home Makeover, Xenomorph edition. Now comes the fun part. Remember that massive ovipositor you've been developing? Yeah, it's time to put that bad boy to work. This thing makes up half your body length when fully extended, and you're about to become a one-alien egg factory. You position yourself in your biomechanical throne, which you've built from resin and probably some unfortunate crew member's bones, and start pumping out eggs. We're talking dozens of eggs per day, each one containing a facehugger just waiting to give someone the worst kiss of their life. Your first batch of children starts hatching, and you couldn't be prouder. Sure, they're parasitic nightmare creatures that reproduce by violating other species, but they're your parasitic nightmare creatures. Through some form of psychic connection that even you don't fully understand, you can command your growing brood. You're basically running a telepathic group chat where you're the admin and everyone else just follows orders. Kevin, go check out that noise in Sector 7. Sarah, stop playing with your food and just cocoon them already. Managing a hive isn't all egg-laying and telepathic bossing around. You've got to deal with food shortages when your kids eat through all the available hosts too quickly. There's always that one drone who thinks they're special and tries to challenge your authority, which you handle by literally ripping them in half because democracy has no place in your hive. Plus, you're constantly expanding, sending your workers to spread resin further throughout whatever facility you've infested, turning the whole place into your personal biomechanical nightmare palace. Your intelligence isn't just about running the hive efficiently. With an IQ of 175, you're smarter than most of the humans trying to kill you. You learn to recognize patterns in their behavior, understand their technology at a basic level, and even engage in psychological warfare. When that one survivor threatens your eggs with a flamethrower, you actually understand the threat and call your drones back. You're playing 4D chess while they're playing checkers, except the chess pieces can climb on ceilings and have acid for blood. Speaking of acid blood, yours is extra spicy. While your drones have blood that can eat through a few deck plates, yours could probably melt through a bank vault. It's your built-in security system, ensuring that even if someone manages to hurt you, they're going to have a very bad time. One tail swipe that draws your blood turns the floor into Swiss cheese and your attacker into fondue. Years pass, and your hive grows massive. You've got hundreds of children now, organized into different castes. Your warriors handle defense, your drones maintain the hive and gather hosts, and your praetorians serve as your personal bodyguards. They're like bouncers at the universe's worst nightclub, except instead of checking IDs, they're checking if you have a face that needs hugging. But success breeds jealousy. Other queens sometimes establish hives nearby, and suddenly you're in a turf war. Queen-on-queen combat is rare but spectacular. You're both massive, intelligent, and absolutely ruthless. The fighting involves tail strikes that could pierce tank armor, acid spray that turns everything into soup, and your 4 arms working overtime to grab and tear. Your children clash with hers in the tunnels between your territories while you two duke it out like kaiju in a very confined space. Eventually, you emerge victorious because you're not just strong, you're clever. You sent a squad of your fastest runners through the vents to attack her egg chamber while she was distracted fighting you. Nothing makes a queen angrier than threatening her eggs, and in her rage, she made mistakes. Now her territory is yours, and you've absorbed her surviving children into your brood because waste not, want not. As decades pass, you grow even larger. Some queens can reach truly massive proportions, and you're well on your way. Your egg production has become so efficient that you're laying them almost constantly, your ovipositor never getting a break. You're essentially a biological factory with a bad attitude and the ability to command an army with your mind. But even queen's age, your carapace, once smooth and glistening, starts showing wear. Your egg production slows down. Some young Praetorian in your hive starts getting ideas above their station, going through changes that could let them molt into a new queen. You can sense it through your psychic connection, their ambition practically screaming in your mind. The confrontation is inevitable. They challenge you right there in your throne room, surrounded by your eggs. This upstart thinks they can take what you've built over decades. Your ovipositor detaches with a wet sound that would make anyone queasy, and suddenly you're mobile again. 4 arms, 2 legs, a tail that could bisect a dropship, and centuries of experience versus one ambitious Praetorian who thinks they're hot stuff. The fight is brutal but quick. You grab them with your chest arms while your main arms tear into their carapace. Your inner jaw punches through their head crest like it's made of paper. As they dissolve into a puddle of acid that eats through 3 sub-levels of your hive, you let out a shriek that echoes through every corridor, reminding everyone who's in charge. You reattach to your throne, your ovipositor settling back into position. Back to laying eggs, back to commanding your brood, back to being the ultimate matriarch of destruction. Your children scatter back to their duties, properly reminded of their place. Another challenger will come eventually, they always do, but for now, you're still the queen, still pumping out eggs like the world's most terrifying vending machine, still commanding respect through a mixture of psychic dominance and the ability to literally tear anyone in half who looks at you funny. You settle back into your biomechanical throne, feeling another clutch of eggs moving through your ovipositor, ready to unleash more horror into the universe. Just another Tuesday in the life of a xenomorph queen. Your inner jaw extends in what could almost be considered a yawn. Time to lay another 100 eggs before lunch. Well, you don't really have lunch. You don't actually need to eat much when you're connected to your throne. The hive provides nutrients through the resin somehow. Honestly, the logistics are weird even for you, and you're the one living it. You let out another commanding shriek, just because you can, and somewhere in the vents, a human whimpers. Music to your ears. Well, if you had ears. Do you have ears? Whatever, the sound vibrations please you, and that's what matters as another egg plops out with a wet splat. Congratulations, you just won the worst lottery in the galaxy. You burst out of a predator's chest, and instead of getting the usual screams and panic, you get something way worse. The predator's buddies are standing right there, and they look absolutely disgusted. Not scared. Disgusted. You're not just an alien parasite to them. You're an insult. An abomination. They're already loading their weapons, so maybe save the victory dance for later and get moving. You scurry across the floor, your tiny mandibles clicking as you race for the nearest dark corner. Already you feel different from your siblings who burst from other species. You've got these weird little appendages on your head that feel sensitive to everything. Your jaw has extra parts too. You inherited mandibles from your host. The predators are shouting in their weird clicking language, and you don't need a translator to know they're planning your funeral. Time to disappear. You squeeze into a ventilation shaft, crawling as fast as your little clawed feet can carry you. The ship, or cave, or whatever place this is, becomes your maze. You're small now, maybe the size of a house cat, but you're growing fast, really fast. Your body is burning through energy, and you need food. A rat scurries past, and your instincts kick in. You pounce, your tiny jaws clamping down. First meal secured. Not exactly a 5-star dinner, but you take what you can get. Days pass, and you're getting bigger, much bigger. Your skin is paler than other xenomorphs, almost grayish. Those dreadlock things on your head are growing longer, and you're starting to realize they're not just for show. They pick up vibrations, help you sense movement around corners. They're basically radar, and that's pretty useful when everyone wants to kill you. Your mandibles are getting stronger too, adding an extra layer of bite to your already terrifying jaw. You're around 3 feet tall now, and your muscles are developing fast. But here's the thing. Being strong doesn't matter if you're dead. The predators are still hunting you. You can hear them sometimes, clicking and growling as they search. They're not just trying to kill you because you're a xenomorph. Your very existence is offensive to them. They see you as the ultimate dishonor, a stain on their proud warrior culture. No pressure. You've been hiding in the shadows for weeks now, growing stronger and faster. You're about 6 feet tall, closing in on your full size. Your tail is longer and thicker than a regular drone's, and your hands are bigger, more powerful. You test your strength on a metal support beam, and your claws slice through it easier than expected. Nice. But with great power comes great responsibility. And your responsibility is to not get blasted into space dust by angry predators. Your body is built different from other xenomorphs. You're bulkier, heavier, with muscles that ripple under your pale exoskeleton. Where other aliens look skeletal and lean, you look like someone hit the gym for 10 years straight. Your dreadlocks have grown to full length now, hanging from your head and twitching at every sound. They help you balance when you leap between surfaces, making you agile for something your size. You test this by jumping from wall to wall in a narrow corridor. Up, across, down, spin. The hunger hits you again. You need more than rats now. Your body demands bigger prey to fuel your rapid growth. You venture deeper into whatever structure you're in, following the scent of something larger. You find it in a cargo bay, some kind of large creature, maybe brought here as food for the predators. You drop from the ceiling, landing silently behind it. The creature turns, but too late. Your mandibles spread wide as you strike, inner jaw punching through skull. You drag it back to your hiding spot to feast. One night, or whatever passes for night in this place, you decide it's time to stop running. You're tired of hiding. You're tired of eating scraps. Time to act the part. You venture out of your hiding spot, moving through the corridors with newfound confidence. Your dreadlocks sense movement ahead. 2 creatures, smaller than predators. Perfect practice. You drop from the ceiling, landing right in front of them. They freeze. You strike. Your mandibles spread wide as your inner jaw shoots forward. Done. The hunt felt good, natural. You feel that weird urge to do something with the bodies. Your claws move almost on their own, tearing, separating. Wait, are you taking trophies? That's a predator thing. You don't even know why you're doing it, but it feels right. Must be genetic memory from your host. Months go by, and you're fully grown now. 10 feet of pure muscle and nightmares. You're stronger than a predator. Tougher than a regular xenomorph. You're the best of both worlds and the worst at the same time. You've been moving through different areas, hunting, surviving. Sometimes you run into other xenomorphs. They seem confused by you, but they don't attack. You're one of them after all. Just bigger. And uglier. And way more dangerous. But the predators haven't forgotten about you, not even close. One day, you're stalking through a forest when you pick up a familiar scent, that clicking sound. You turn, and there he is. A predator, fully armed, biohelmet on, plasma caster charged. He's been tracking you. This isn't some random encounter. He came here specifically to end you. The fight starts fast. He fires his plasma caster, and the blast hits you square in the chest. It hurts, sure, but your thick hide absorbs most of it. You barely flinch. He seems surprised. Good. You charge forward, using your superior agility to close the distance. He swings his wrist blades, catching you across the arm. Your acidic blood sprays out, and he has to dodge. You tackle him, mandibles snapping inches from his face. He kicks you off with both legs, sending you flying back. You land on your feet, tail whipping behind you for balance. This predator is good, experienced, but you're better. You leap to the side as he fires again, then spring forward in a zigzag pattern he can't track. Your claws rake across his chest, tearing through armor. He roars in pain and fury. You grab his arm, the one with the plasma caster, and tear it clean off. He's still fighting though. Tough species. The battle goes on for several more minutes. He lands hits, you land more. Finally, you wrap your tail around his leg and yank, sending him crashing to the ground. Your claws pin him down. He stops struggling, knowing it's over. You could finish him now, should finish him. But something makes you pause. Maybe it's respect, maybe it's that genetic memory again. Either way, you hesitate just long enough for him to activate something on his wrist. You bolt, running as fast as your legs can carry you. Behind you, a massive explosion tears through the forest. He's self-destructed, took himself out rather than let you claim him as a trophy. At least you survived. Years pass. You're a legend now among both species. Xenomorphs see you as the ultimate warrior. Predators see you as the ultimate target. You've fought dozens of them, killed most, escaped the rest. You've survived plasma fire, explosions, even a brief dip in magma that would have melted any other creature. Your hide is tough, your strength unmatched. You've noticed something interesting about yourself. When you get really angry or threatened, you let out this vocalization that sounds almost exactly like a predator's roar mixed with a xenomorph's hiss. It's unsettling. Even you find it creepy. Other creatures hear it and just freeze. That moment of confusion gives you the advantage you need. Sometimes you wonder if you should find a hive, join up with other xenomorphs, but every time you get close to a group, that solitary instinct kicks in. You hunt alone. You fight alone. Maybe it's the predator genes, or maybe you just don't play well with others. Either way, you've carved out your own territory and defended it against all comers. You're not invincible. You know that. Every fight takes a toll. Every hunt requires more effort than the last. You're still strong, still dangerous, but you're not getting any younger. One day, you sense something different. A whole hunting party. Elite predators. The best of the best. They've decided that one hunter isn't enough. You could run. You could hide. But what's the point? You've been running your whole life. You're tired. Besides, if you're going out, might as well go out swinging. You stand your ground as they approach. There are 6 of them, all armed to the teeth. The battle is chaos. Plasma blasts everywhere. You're moving, striking, using every trick you've learned. You take down 2 of them before the others start coordinating better. A net wraps around you. You tear through it with your claws, but it slows you down just enough for a spear to pierce your side. You roar, that weird predator-xenomorph hybrid sound. You're losing, you know it, but you're taking as many with you as possible. Another one falls to your tail strike. 3 down, 3 to go. Your vision is getting blurry. Blood loss, maybe. Or maybe you're just tired. One of them steps forward, the leader probably. He raises his plasma caster for the final shot. You bare your teeth, mandibles spread wide in defiance. At least you made them work for it. The last thing you think before everything goes dark is pretty simple. Worth it. And also, you really hope none of those predators you killed were carrying facehuggers, because wouldn't that just be the ultimate revenge?